So today we're taking a look at the Cricut. This is the Bona Fide, and we're going to do an unboxing and see what we think of this knife. Open it up, kind of explore it a little bit, and just kind of, see what we think. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. Cricut generally doesn't do a whole lot with their boxes, so let's just open it right up. On the inside of the box, you're going to have field strip. That's the special feature of this knife. And what is this? Like a little user manual. You got Columbia River knife and tool, in case anybody didn't realize that that's what that stood for. Little breakdown, some good stuff. But the meat and potatoes of the whole thing is the actual knife. Now there is one really cool thing about this knife, and that is that you can field strip it and break it down. It's a very pretty knife. It's got aluminum scales, a drop point blade. It's got a flipper on the back. And this little button right here, that's where the magic happens. So as you can see, the clip on this thing is a little bit shallow, but I actually really like that, I think. It looks like it goes pretty deep in the pocket, not fully up to the rear, but, pretty close. It's got aluminum scales on it, held on by 3, looks like T6 maybe, in there. Blade shape on it is really, really interesting. You've got the bevel on the top and this nice sweeping blade right here. You've got some jimping on the very top. There's actually quite a bit of jimping. It goes pretty deep into the blade. You can choke up on this thing decently, although there is a sharp edge right here. So it's not, I wouldn't really choke up on it. And to be honest, the size of this thing is not such that you really need to. It's a very cool blade. So one of the main reasons that I kind of was interested in this blade is the takedown feature. Now the takedown feature it's actually supposed to be super simple. You just move this knurled little button, you take it down a little bit and over and then straight up, and then you can pull the whole thing apart. So we're going to do that right now. That is pretty securely held on there. I actually like that. I was concerned that it was going to be just like popping apart all easily, but there's actually a pretty secure button in there. Well, I've got it locked out, so. And just like that, it falls apart. I mean, you can see the internals, you can get in there, you can lube it up, clean it, do whatever you want to do. You can kind of see how this thing is held together. So you got your scales that wrap the frame. And it's an aluminum frame. These are aluminum scales, from what I'm told, with a liner lock. You can kind of see the inner workings here. So you have a central post here, and then you got a blade guide post. And then if you can see, they both have little notches right here on the edge, and that is how this thing goes back together. On the inside here, there's a little retaining clip that pops up when you move this thing over. So if I close this down, you can see inside there's a little bit of a retaining clip. Hopefully you can see in there. So I'm going to put this back open so I can put it back together. But let's take a look at the bearings in this thing. What is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bearings, or 9 balls on the bearing. This is a Ken Onion design knife. Ooh, it's sharp too. Watch out for that. Bona Fide K540GXP is the model number on it. You've got your hole there for the detent. That's where, when you lock the frame down, this little ball bearing in the lock goes in there, and that's how your detent, that's how your knife stays put. Goes in there and it seats just like that, and it stays together. So overall, I mean, this is a pretty cool thing for anybody who carries their knives, gets their knives dirty or whatever. I think that this would be a handy thing. It's kind of a novelty for me. I don't know how much I'll carry this knife. I do like it, so I'm going to certainly carry it for a while, but we're gonna just have to test it out. This is, I mean, really just an unboxing for me, just kind of get a first impression. So to put the knife back together, you put it back on the axle, make sure the bearing guide or the blade guide goes back together. You are going to compete a little bit with that liner lock to push it together. But you just set it in there. And then there's 2 holes on the other scale. You got front and back right here. Make sure you're disengaged. Make sure everything lines up. Squeeze it back together and lock it in. And just like that, boom, done. So, I mean, overall, this is a pretty snazzy little knife, I think. I like the way that it holds in your hand. You can choke up on it a little bit. You can grab it. You can reverse grab. You've got, actually, there's a little bit of jimping on the backspacer here. So if you do a reverse grab, well, I really like that, actually. So you got texture here and you got texture here. So if you're going to do a reverse grab, that's right where your thumb goes. And you've got some leverage there. You've also got good leverage here. You got a little bit of a choke up point there. It flips open and shut. Really nice. Closes, detent's good. Not too much force to get it open, but enough to keep it closed if you want to. It's not going to just fly open on you or anything like that. Snaps open nice and easy. Those bearings are super lubed. Not lubed, actually. They're just super loose. I haven't lubed this knife yet at all. I just pulled it out of the box. It does close up pretty easy. Yeah. Cricut doing their thing, man. You can reverse flick it open. You do have to give it a little bit of gusto to get it to open up, but if you hold on tight, you can just flick it open. I like that. Cool, man. So this is the K540GXP Bona Fide Ken Onion design by Columbia River Knife and Tool. Overall, great first impression.